Okay, so now we're on page 50, and we're going to learn a new technique called palm muting and a new piece called heavy. So let's talk about palm muting. Palm muting is where we mute the strings with our palm, and we use it to create this effect of a string that's not fully resonating, but it's not fully muted either. It's in between the two. So let me just show you a little bit. As we put our hand here, you'll notice I'm taking my palm and I'm just kind of putting it here. So if you can see up close, the strings are kind of resting right here. And you can experiment. If you move this way, it gets too muted as you move too far towards the headstock. And as you move back, get that muting sweet spot and then unmuted. So you want to find that balance, okay? And you can play with that expressively. But generally, it's just taking this corner of your palm right there. So we use palm muting whenever we want that effect. Might be used for me if I'm, for instance, if I'm playing a calypso style piece, I might go. Just kind of almost sounds like a marimba. I might use it if I'm trying to emulate a certain sound like pizzicato that we hear in an orchestra. If there's a scene where someone's sneaking through the kitchen at night in a cartoon. Someone's tiptoeing around. We hear that quite a bit. It's just nice for strumming. If you don't want to have a fully resonant strum, you might want to go. That kind of a sound is a cool effect. So it's used in a lot of different contexts. You can use it whenever you'd like. If someone does formally want you to use it, if they want to notate that you want to use it, if you look at heavy, you can see in that first system, there's a P.M with a dash. So for this piece, technically only the first system would be palm muted. If you want to do the whole thing palm muted, go for it, okay? But as far as what's technically written there, it's just the first system. So let's look at this piece now. Let's look at heavy. 4/4 time, 4 systems of music. But there's some odd repeats in this piece. And that was just a function of me having to fit it on the bottom of the page. Otherwise, I wouldn't have written it this way. First system has a repeat, so take that system 2 times. The second and third systems also have a repeat between them. So you're going to take that section 2 times. You play from measure 3 to measure 6, and then measure 3 to measure 6, and then you move on to measure 7. Okay, so once you have that down, you want to look at the phrase. The main phrase of this piece, or motive of that piece, is A, A, C, A, B, C, B, A. Okay, so I wrote this piece as your kind of workout on reading those ledger lines A, B, and C. So that phrase is used over and over and over. That's really all we have. That's most of the piece. The exception to that is the second system. And the second system is interesting rhythmically. We have eighth note rests on beat 3, beat 4 in both measures. We have the and of 4 in measure 3 tied to the downbeat of 1. Okay, so that beat's going to ring for 2.5 beats total, but it comes in on the and of 4, and you have to count through to 1, 2, and then you play some mute on beat 3. Then you hit the and of 3, mute again on beat 4, and then the and of 4, and then you'll notice that that eighth note A on the and of 4 in measure 4 ties over to beat 1 of measure 5. So you don't play that. You're going to play ands. Okay, so it's a lot of ands if you're looking at the third and fourth system, measures 3, 4, and 5. There's a lot of ands there, right? Let me clap it for you just so you can hear it. So it goes 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Right? And it would just repeat like that. What you didn't hear from me clapping was the note sustaining. Okay, let me play it for you once so you can hear the note sustaining on the and of 4. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the way the second and third system work. And of course, there's a repeat there. Okay, so let me play this piece for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let me play it for you once, just a little using power chords for those of you that are more advanced. I'll play it without the metronome. It'd be fun to do this with distortion as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to learn those power chords later in the book. And that's heavy. Have fun.